Daily Trust News Center. This is the News Hour.
On News Hour tonight, again, bandits invade Casina community, killing 5 persons and abducting 5 others. NLC to shut down power supply in Imo State. Makodi residents decry prolonged stay of IDPs in camps. On the foreign scene, United Nations warns of colossal tragedy as Gaza's fuel runs out. Many thanks for joining us on the News Hour. My name is Abdullahi Ahmed. We start in Casina as bandits have attacked Saya community in Matazu local government area of the state, killing at least 5 persons. The incident, which took place in the early hours of Tuesday, came barely 24 hours after an attack on Maulid procession, where at least 25 persons were reportedly killed. Matazu and Musawa are neighboring local government areas in the state where some of the victims of the Maulid attack came from. A resident of Saya community, whose father is among the victims, told newsmen that the attackers conducted a house-to-house raid in the community, killing 5 persons and abducting several others. He says the terrorists also rustled domestic animals, carting away other valuables during the operation. In a statement confirming the development, the police spokesperson in Casina State, ASP Abubakar Sadiq, says 5 people were shot dead, 2 others were injured, and 5 people have been kidnapped from the attack. Now, the injured were rushed to a hospital for immediate medical attention. The police commissioner of Casina State, while consoling families affected by the attack, urged members of the public with information to come forward and assist the police in investigations as part of efforts to intensify and ensure the safe rescue of the kidnapped persons and the arrest of the perpetrators of the dastardly act. Earlier, we spoke to Trust TV's Abdullahi Ahmadi, who gave us an update on the development.
Over 100 bandits carrying dangerous weapons surrounded Sayaya town of Matazu local government area of Casina State, where they killed 5 people the night around 10 p.m. And of course, 14 people, including women and children, have been abducted in the process. And among the abductees are 2 pregnant women and an infant. The bandits ransacked the town, and of course, they went to house searching for money, domestic animals, and other valuables. Anonymous Sayaya residents told Trust TV that even though the presence of security operatives has restored their hope, but already hundreds of their people have relocated to other places perceived safer. To many residents, the bandits are launching these attacks after 2 or 3 months of accelerated peace, just to show that they are around. They are capable of launching attacks. In a nutshell, they are just trying to show that around, and of course, this is just a show of force. The Secretary of Vigilante Group in Matazu local government said the bandits are launching these attacks to frustrate the current effort of Governor Diko Umaru Rada of dwarfing the elements. He, however, said all the security agencies in the area have resolved to coordinate themselves and make a very formidable synergy that will ensure peace in the area. And of course, they are on a rescue mission now to rescue the kidnapped victims unhurt. The Casina State Police Command, in a telephone chat with the Police Public Relations Officer, confirmed the attack at Saya town.
Still talking security, the House of Representatives Committee on Army has pledged its commitment to ensure the Nigerian Army is placed on a proper pedestal to take and tackle the challenges of insecurity facing Nigeria. Chairman of the House Committee, Abdullahi Mahmudu, made the pronouncement at the inauguration of the committee on Tuesday. He says the committee has a responsibility to Nigerians as he enjoined members of the committee to give maximum cooperation for the objective to be achieved. Mahmudu says the committee has developed a 4-year work plan that will be judiciously followed within specific periods in order to achieve its mandate. He says the scope of the committee's activities also includes oversight of the Nigerian Army recruitment exercise.
Solicit your understanding and cooperation in the tasks ahead. Please, let's take this responsibility with all seriousness and understand that it is our duty to put the Nigerian Army on a proper pedestal to be able to end the several challenges that we've been having in terms of insecurity in the country. We have a responsibility to Nigerians and we have to be seen to be doing it. And I enjoy on all of you to give maximum cooperation so that we'll be able to succeed.
Now, at least 4 persons have died from another boat mishap in Awe local government area of Nasarawa State. Now, Trust TV learned that the boat accident, the boat which was conveying rice farmers from Ube district of Egon local government area of the state capsized while crossing a river at Hunki village of Awe local government area on Monday night. Our correspondent reports that the bodies of the deceased have been transported back to the village for proper identification by families. The police public relations officer in the state, DSP Rahman Nansel, who confirmed the incident in Lafia, the Nasarawa state capital, on Tuesday, explains that the driver of the boat is still missing. Now, the appeal court sitting in Abuja on Tuesday have upheld the judgment of the tribunal which declared the Minister of Labour, Simon Lalong, winner of the Plateau South senatorial election. The Independent National Electoral Commission had declared Napoleon Bali of the People's Democratic Party, PDP, winner of the election, having polled 148,844 votes, while Lalong scored 91,674 votes to come second in the February 25 general elections. Now, however, Lalong had approached the court seeking the nullification of Bali's election on the grounds that the PDP did not have a proper party structure and therefore could not field a candidate for the election. The tribunal, in a unanimous judgment read by Justice Muhammad Tukur, says the PDP, having no structure, lacked the right to have taken part in the federal election. In other news, the Inspector General of Police, Kaide Betokun, on Tuesday announced there will be no vehicular movement in Imo, Kogi and Bayelsa State ahead of and during Saturday's governorship elections. He also says the movement of canoes, boats, ships and other means of transportation via the waterways have also been barred starting from 12 a.m. midnight on Saturday till the end of the exercise in the evening. The police boss explains that the decision was in line with measures being put in place to ensure a hitch-free, fair and credible exercise in the 3 states, adding that 80% of the landmass in Bayelsa State is covered by water bodies. The police boss, who spoke through the force spokesperson, Olumuyiwa Adejobi, at a press briefing at the force headquarters in Abuja, also announced the cancellation of state security outfits like Ebubeagu and the cancellation of operations of security outfits like Ebubeagu and other quasi-outfit from carrying out operations during the election exercise. According to the police boss, both marine and gunboats have been deployed in the 3 states, considering the riverine terrain of the states, insisting that the states have been fortified with different security equipments, including helicopters that will be for aerial patrol during the exercise. Elsewhere, the organized labor on Tuesday directed its members in the power sector to shut down electricity and fuel supplies in Imo State over the brutalization of the president of the NLC, Joe Ajero, last week, allegedly by operatives of the Nigerian police. The labor movement, comprising the Nigeria Labour Congress and the Trade Union Congress, also directed aviation workers to ensure that flights into and out of Imo State are suspended until further notice. The directive was one of resolutions reached during an extraordinary National Executive Council meeting summoned by both the TUC and the NLC on Tuesday afternoon after the expiration of a 5-day ultimatum earlier given following the brutal attack on Comrade Joe Ajero by the Nigerian police in Owerri, according to the organized labor. Now, the Imo State capital, the reading of the resolutions on the strike in Imo, the NEC meeting with journalists at Labour House in Abuja on Tuesday evening. The president of the TUC, Festus Osifo, declared that the movement had resolved to begin a nationwide strike on Tuesday, November 14, 2023. He says the two major labor unions had begun nationwide mobilization of members and allies immediately. Now, the current scarcity of cooking gas in Benue State has been attributed to the volatility in the foreign exchange market. Trust TV correspondent Idris Jibrin gives us a situation report from Kano.
As the high cost of living continues to take toll on people's earnings, cooking gas is now becoming unaffordable for most people in Kano State. According to traders, cooking gas, like many other products, has no fixed price at the moment due to its scarcity. Honestly, there is no fixed price of cooking gas now. You can go to the market today, you buy it 700 naira. By evening time, it will jump to 800 naira. Like day before yesterday, we are selling it 1,100, but today is 1,200. In most places visited, 1 kg of cooking gas is now sold at between 1,000 to 1,200 naira. And this is largely because even the major dealers are not supplying enough product to the markets. Honestly, at the moment, even the major dealers that are supplying the cooking gas are not supplying enough. If you said you want to buy let's say 10 cylinders, if you go to the major dealers, they will tell you that they can only give you 4 or 5 cylinders. So the cooking gas is very scarce at the moment. High rates of foreign exchange is among the most immediate reasons for the scarcity, according to major dealers. They say it is now difficult to get the product from Lagos and other places across the country. Well, the problem we are facing is because of the high rate of foreign exchange. All the gas that we used to buy, we do buy it from outside the country. Even like the major marketers that used to sell the cooking gas for us, they used to buy it outside the countries. And you know the price of dollars now, it's gone off. So that is why most of the major marketers are not even bringing enough. Not to talk of us, the major dealers. We are not getting enough from them. Therefore, the retailers and local customers cannot get enough from us. While the price of cooking gas continues to skyrocket across the state, there are growing concerns that it may get worse in the next coming days unless the supply becomes stable. Idris Jibrin, Trust TV News, Kano.
Now, a day after an explosion at its Nigerian embassy in Abuja led to the death of 2 persons, the Canadian government has begun a probe of the incident. Canada has joined the United States and the United Kingdom in issuing a warning against non-essential travel to Nigeria. On Monday, the High Commission witnessed a fire outbreak that killed 2 persons and injured 2 others. Shortly after the incident, the Canadian Foreign Minister, Melanie Joly, issued a terse statement on X, mourning the victims of the explosion. She says they are working to shed light on what caused the situation. Also, Canada's High Commission in Nigeria said on social media that it had, quote, temporarily suspended operations until further notice. However, the Commission was silent on Monday's explosion, issuing a travel advisory and warning against non-essential travel to Nigeria, including the federal capital, Abuja. Well, in response, the Minister of Information and National Orientation, Mohammed Malagi, has cautioned the U.S. mission in Nigeria and other foreign missions in the country against putting out what he described needless security advisories. The minister told reporters in Abuja on Monday that such advisories had far-reaching implications on the general polity as well as Nigeria's economy. Malagi says the federal government was not resting on its oars to ensure that every inch of land and every citizen, resident and visitor in the country is secure. On November 3rd, the United States mission alerted its citizens in Nigeria of an elevated threat to major hotels across Nigeria's largest cities and urged its nationals to consider this information when making arrangements for lodgings and visiting major cities across Nigeria. In Benue State, the state that is dealing with a humanitarian challenge, as thousands remain in camps after years of being disconnected with their ancestral homes. Now, their continuous stay in the camps is generating concern among residents of Makurdi, who are calling for the immediate rehabilitation and relocation of internally displaced persons back to their homelands. Jimmy Azande reports.
Benue is one of the states in Nigeria struggling with a humanitarian crisis that has impacted the lives of over 1 million people. The camps that were designed to provide temporary shelter have now become home to those displaced by violent conflicts. For some residents of Makurdi, the time has come to reconnect all internally displaced persons to their ancestral homes and give them a sense of belonging.
Recently, the Benue State government, with support of international organization, is undertaking a biometric exercise. But in all of this, the government has to come up with a deliberate policy towards resettling the internally displaced persons, beyond just giving them cartons of indomies, giving them fish. The people in IDP camp really want to fish on their own, and any policy towards supporting them should be geared towards resettling them, should be geared towards building the security of the villages.
Some of the respondents say the practice of giving handouts to IDPs is not sustainable and can lead to an overdependence on the government for everyday needs.
Palliatives, enough of palliatives. What the government should do is ensure there's security, and then create an enabling environment for the economy in those places to thrive. Those that want to go to farms should have security to go to farms, provide seedlings, those that are fishermen, provide them with what they need, to fish.
Many say restoring peace across volatile areas and moving the displaced population back to their homelands should be the target for both state and federal government, as this remains the viable option that can help the IDPs lead meaningful and productive lives.
Right, so it will be difficult to meet all their needs, but when we provide them with basic amenities, water, food, clothing, hospitals or health equipment and facilities to ensure that they are able to live life to the full.
It has been 5 years since over 1 million residents of Benue, now regarded as IDPs, last saw their villages after persistent attacks by herders. For the IDPs, the long way to go back home continues. Jimmy Azandi, Trust TV News, Makurdi.
You're watching the News Hour on Trust TV. Coming up ahead, we tell you why this famous Zaria Tannery is going out of business. More on this and many other stories up ahead after the break.
As a demonstration of its commitment to provide sustained access to basic healthcare for all Nigerians, the Federal Government of Nigeria, through the National Primary Healthcare Development Agency, NPHCDA, has established the Basic Healthcare Provision Fund, BHCPF. The Basic Healthcare Provision Fund is designed to deploy Operations Fund directly to primary healthcare facilities in every political ward nationwide to ensure the availability of quality PHC services to all Nigerians, irrespective of where they live or work. The Basic Healthcare Provision Fund guarantees 24 hours availability of midwives, other health workers, and health supplies in at least one PHC in every political ward. Ask from your local government health department for the BHCPF PHC in your ward to get more information and benefit from the services. Think access to healthcare for all. Think universal health coverage. Think Basic Healthcare Provision Fund. This message is from the Federal Ministry of Health and National Primary Healthcare Development Agency, NPHCDA. For further inquiries, call the NPHCDA toll-free number 7722 or visit www.nphcda.gov.ng.
If you desire to fulfill your Hajj obligation but cannot afford to pay at a go, you need not to worry anymore. Jaiz Bank PLC, in collaboration with National Hajj Commission of Nigeria, NACAN, and the State Pilgrims Welfare Boards have jointly introduced Hajj Savings Scheme to help you fulfill your wish. Whether you're a cattle rearer, a farmer, a petty trader, or a parent who wishes to start saving for their children and be getting profit at the same time, this scheme is for you. Visit any of the Jaiz Bank branches or Hajj Commission offices nearest to you to enroll, or go to www.hajsavings.jaizbankplc.com to register. For further information, contact info@jaizbankplc.com or call the number 070-077-30000.
It was never a consensus. We did all our best. You see, in politics, you give your contribution to the best of your ability.
If you want, I'll forward to you this statement. You go to this bank and verify. But
there are people who say not spending money is not about you.
I'm coming. Let me finish.
But there's so much to be done.
Let me finish. Now, you don't allow me to explain myself.
The recent developments shows abductions are now a factor of informants embedded in community.
It's not about the people of Casina to say that, no, during my administration I was able to stop insecurity. No, it's about collective responsibility for all of us.
And what we should ask ourselves is not what has been seen, is the life better? Are there more people who are unemployed who are not become employed? Is the level of corruption has gone down? Is there inclusion? All those issues.
We're actually a gas country with associated oil. Our focus has always been on oil, that we have never paid significant attention to gas.
To do it effectively, we need to have honest conversation with ourselves. Government needs to come down from its high horse and communicate with the people and build trust.
There must be a solution. We cannot continue this way. They must come back to the table and agree. So whose child will do deny education? All these children that sit for them, they want to go to higher institutions.
But just a short while ago you were saying that why bring 10 children when you cannot cater for them? So why bring more universities when you cannot cater for the existing?
Hello and welcome to Creative Lounge on Trust TV. My name is Ahmed Mohammed Bello and I'm going to be taking you through my journey as an artist.
Welcome back to the news. Thank you very much for staying with us. Here's a quick reminder of our top stories. Again, bandits invade Casina community, killing 5 persons. NLC to shut down power supply in Imo State. Now, the Nigerian Bar Association has petitioned the Commissioner of Police in Gombe State to investigate a mob attack on some of its members. An upper area court judge, a lawyer and a judicial staff were attacked while on official duty adjudicating a disputed land in Balanga local government area of the state. Trust TV's Ismail Ibrahim tells us more.
Some may consider this a job hazard, but law is usually considered a safe profession by all standards. For Barrister Usman Yahya, the attack on his life in connection with his everyday job has put him in a critical situation. A judge at Upper Area Court 3, Ayub Abuba Dallas, and a judicial officer were also at the receiving end of a mob attack in Balanga local government area of Gombe State. The location court proceeding, also known as Lakas in Co, was attending to legal matter when hoodlums in connection with the case violently attacked them. Barrister Usman Yahya, who is now recovering from his injuries, is demanding justice from the system.
When we reached the farmland, the defendants and their civilians attack us with leather weapons such as sticks. They attack us without any explanation. From then, we escaped from them, and my client, they took me to Cottage Hospital, Digiri, when I received the first aid treatment.
The Nigerian Bar Association, Gombe State branch, in a swift reaction, has written the Commissioner of Police to investigate the matter.
So, but if people have the audacity to attack the court, then, it might be beyond the powers or the capacity or capability of the division or the outpost within the vicinity of the scene of crime. Simply, that was why we petitioned the Commissioner of Police. If anything could be done from the CID, they have more manpower, vehicles, armed personnel, and more trained personnel that would, swing to action to be able to investigate the matter. If there be need to arrest whoever is involved.
Usman, who is now recuperating, has voiced concern over an attempt on his life and is reeling from last Saturday's incident, which he considered as a threat to the administration of justice in the country. But the lawyer, although shaken by the event, is unmoved by the development.
If they do not take the immediately action, this kind of acts will occur to another persons. So for the interest of masses, they ought to take an immediate action on that issue.
The NBA has condemned the assault on its members while calling on Nigerians to respect the rule of law and preserve the integrity and dignity of the judiciary. Ibrahim Ismail, Trust TV News, Gombe.
Agriculture development is taking a new shape, with regenerative agriculture taking over conventional means of food production. This disruptive new thinking is gaining traction across the world as Nigerian stakeholders champion the approach as a solution to revitalizing Nigeria's agriculture sector. Neil Sampson reports.
Nigeria's agriculture sector is in need of significant revitalization that will help diversify the economy. This is why the new thinking on regenerative agriculture is being welcomed by stakeholders in the industry. The elements of this new initiative focuses on soil protection, improvement, biodiversity, climate resilience, and water resources, while making farming more productive and profitable.
The soils in Africa, especially Nigeria, is really exhausted, with most of the nutrients gone due to too much of planting crops year after year without putting back additional nutrients into the soil to keep it healthy. So our soils are degraded. The soil health, lacks biodiversity, micronutrients, and we have a challenge. And through regenerative agriculture, we use specific practices which helps to improve the soil health and reduce soil degradation.
The willingness is there. What is needed is for government to put in investment in extension and advisory services so that technologies like this are scaled out.
The new invention is fast becoming popular with industry players, and governments at all levels are set to key into the system.
There's going to be a new a summit on agriculture as well as National Council of Agriculture. At that meeting, the various subsectors of agric will be discussed, including this new generation agriculture we are talking about.
We're looking at it from the angle that helps us build sustainability across a more friendly climate environment. With a more friendly climate environment, we're able to save more money in addressing those climate impact issues. So for us, that might be where we are also looking at working. Now we're encouraging most of our farmers to also take a lot in mixed farming. Now with mixed farming, we're able to see where the cattle, the animals are able to produce waste that is also used as manure for the crops.
Regeneration is the natural process of replacing or restoring damaged or missing cells, tissues, organs, and even entire body parts to full function in plants and animals. Scientists are studying regeneration for its potential uses in medicine, such as treating a variety of diseases and injuries. This is fast becoming the future of agricultural development to meet the growing demands of food production and address climate change. Nigeria is now joining the trend. Noel Samson, Trust TV News, Abuja.
Now, the decline of local industries in Nigeria is becoming alarming as more sectors are being impacted by the current economic downturn. Traditional tanneries in Nigeria have been part of the leather-producing value chain, providing thousands of jobs and millions of dollars in revenue. In northern Nigeria, the tannery business goes back hundreds of years. And in this report, Bello Musa tells the tale of a dying industry that is blessed with abundant material resources and talent.
Zaria's tanneries are some of the oldest and most successful in the business. For years, this industry has sustained the lives of thousands of people through direct and indirect employment. The old tannery was relocated from Zaria City to Kofar Kuyambana as a result of urban renewal work that affected the old site. A quick look at what used to be a booming business with global connections showed visible signs of a fallen giant.
Gaba ɗaya yanayin aikin namu ya zama ya gama lalacewa ma dai gaba ɗaya aikin nan namu na jima.
We are experiencing low patronage. We would buy the skin and tan it, but there are no customers to buy from us. We had foreign customers, but they stopped coming now. The market is bad. Despite its declining fortunes, this old tannery still provides a handful of tanners with the necessary tools and facility to earn a living.
Yanzu sana'an da yanzu ina gami da zaka zo ka tada gidan nan akwai ma'aikata mun fi mu 50. Kowa da aikin shi.
We were more than 50 in this house, and each person would tan 50 animal skins in a day. Yet, we would not meet the demand in the market. However, now you can see how deserted the place is.
Saboda menene da mu ana jiran fatan ne da an yi kawai ana jira ga masu siye nan suna jira.
Although it is only a matter of time before this tannery becomes a relic of Zaria's history due to modern advancement in tanning, many believe an intervention could have saved it from going out of business through protectionist policies of government. Although insecurity is affecting tanning, but lack of government support has also contributed as well. We don't have capital and modern tools to do our work effectively. Moreover, the importation of polythene bag and other products from China has reduced the use of skin products in the country, and this affects us as well. Zaria Tannery is dying. We need government support to produce quality skins.
Zaka ga an yi leda mai ƙurzuni irin bayan kada za a yi na irin damu.
According to available data, the sector, which is largely dominated by the northern Nigeria, attracted over $645 million in the last quarter of 2021. While all the recipes for success remain available, local industries like this will be missing out of the billion-dollar industry if something urgent is not done to revitalize the sector. Bello Musa, Trust TV News, Kaduna.
Now, Nasarawa State Command of the Nigeria Security and Civil Defense Corps has arrested 5 suspects over alleged burglary and theft in the state. The Public Relations Officer of the command, Jerry Victor, made the announcement while parading the suspects in Lafia, the Nasarawa State capital. Correspondent Abdullahi Abubakar sent in this report as presented from our studio.
The persistent breaking and entry crimes have become a source of concern for business owners in Lafia, whose shops are targets for the criminals. The 5 suspects in custody of Nasarawa State NCDC command, according to the Public Relations Officer, Jerry Victor, have often vandalized shops, looting the items like mobile phones and clothes.
We have a suspect, Isa Yakubu, 19 years of age, residing at Angwanungu, Akurba, in Lafia, Nasarawa State. He burgled a shop located at Kurikyo Road, Abuja City, Lafia, on the 29th of October 2023. After 1.5 weeks or so, he came back to the same shop for another round of operation. That was where the luck ran out of him. He was caught on the act and brought to our office.
The NCDC spokesman also said some of the stolen items have been recovered from the suspect, while efforts are on to recover other stolen properties. While reiterating the commitment of the NCDC to fighting crime in the state, the spokesman added that the corps will extend its scope to fighting other crimes beyond vandalism and theft.
As an organization, we are, of course, always, we do have a monthly sensitization programs that we usually have within the state to educate, the residents and the public of Nasarawa State to be law-abiding citizens. And of course, there is no crime that pays. So we are calling on the public to do the right thing at the right time.
The NCDC is set to prosecute the arrested suspect after completion of preliminary investigations. Some of the suspects interviewed confessed their involvement in the alleged offences.
Now, the Nigerian Senate has expressed concern over methods employed by the Federal Civil Service Commission in the recruitment and deployment of officers in the Federal Civil Service. This concern was sequel to a motion by Senator Zach Titus on the urgent need to ensure federal character principle, curb lopsidedness, and emerging infractions in the recruitment and deployment of officers by the Federal Civil Service Commission and other related agencies. In his lead debate, Senator Titus noted that the Federal Civil Service Commission has deviated from its core recruitment principle through advertisement in national dailies, resorting to using illegal methods of employment. Contributing to the motion, all the senators that spoke were convinced that if urgent action is not taken to ensure federal character principle and the mitigation of lopsidedness is addressed, it will weaken the cohesion of the civil service with its attendant damage to governance and service delivery. The Nigerian Senate thereafter mandated its Committee on Establishment and Public Service Matters to carry out a holistic investigation into the matter and come up with appropriate recommendations to the Nigerian Senate.
Following the thought that whereas introduction of IPPIS was meant to curtail and ultimately eliminate illegalities in the civil service in terms of human resource and payroll management, human factor in its application seems to be jeopardizing this noble objective of government. Regret also that employees of government are capitalizing on insider abuse to undermine the efficiency of the IPPIS.
They don't know one or two persons in high positions that will hire them. And so we must take this motion very seriously to bring sanity to the process so that at least our citizens can feel a sense of belonging to the country Nigeria.
That the three committees of the Nigerian Senate should jointly investigate this matter and revert to the Senate within 2 weeks. Those who support say aye. Aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it.
To Borno State now, where Governor Babagana Umar Zulum has called on the newly posted corps members in Batch C Stream 1 to Borno State to be ambassadors of national unity during their orientation course exercise in the state. Now, the governor, represented by the head of service, Borno State government, Malam Fanami, at the swearing in of the 824 corps members, tasked them to be committed and diligent at their place of primary assignment and most especially contribute to the growth and development of the country. He also noted that the commencement of the NYC scheme in Borno State signposts the return of peace in the state while maintaining the support that the government will give to corps members across board.
Our pledges and commitment to the corps members remain unshakable. Accordingly, I hereby approve deployed items as a palliative support to our corps members during your orientation exercise. 100 bags of 50 kg rice, 100 bags of 50 kg rice, 100 bags of 10 kg beans, 15 jerrycans of vegetable oil, 10 goals. You must have pursued acceptable as agents of national unity and liberation.
We are very fortunate because His Excellency always goes ahead of us in meeting our present demands as it relates to core members' welfare needs, even before such requests are made. As I speak, engineers have concluded assessment of the NYC Permanent Orientation Camp in Maiduguri, awaiting the next line of action by the result-oriented administration of Professor Babagana Umara Zulu.
If you distinguish yourself, you shall not go unrewarded. Many core members in the past have written their names in gold and created positive image for themselves. I urge you to stay in Borno State, not to relocate to another state.
I don't have any regret in any ways returning back to Borno. And you can see the core members are happy. They are ready to stay and give their dues. Last orientation camp when we returned them, there are a lot of apprehension from parents. What will happen to them? But I'm sure later when they heard what the government have done and from what their children have told them, I'm sure we have not recorded any relocation. They are still serving in Borno.
Now, President Bola Tinubu has approved the appointment of Dr. Abdul Mukhtar to serve as the national coordinator of the Presidential Unlocking Healthcare Value Chain Initiative, which is domiciled under the Federal Ministry of Health and Social Welfare. The strategic approval seeks to unlock billions of dollars of new investment in the nation's healthcare delivery system through a time-bound and cross-ministerial collaboration to restructure the ecosystem of health product manufacturing, health logistics services, health technology services, and health retail services, as also to include health provider facilitation and health payer reform in order to achieve measurable increase in the domestic manufacturing of generic pharmaceuticals, vaccines, biologics, and devices. The reduction of outbound medical tourism by enhancing service quality in Nigeria while catalyzing an alternative health ecosystem in the country. It also includes a measurable increase in quantity of quality jobs across the value chain through enhanced federal direct investment and local capital mobilization. In a statement signed by the President's Special Advisor on Media and Publicity, Ajuri Gilali, the President expects the national coordinator of this new cross-ministerial initiative to bring his experience to bear. While you're still watching the News Hour on Trust TV, more news stories coming up ahead in just a moment. Join us again. That's great. It's good to see you.
Hello viewers, welcome to another episode of Adam's Kitchen on Trust TV. Try grating it. I am going to show you how to prepare a Singaporean chicken rice. Like this. Back here and get my carrots ready. Put in some amount of oil on the skin. I will now go ahead and take off the chicken, spread it to a desired shape.
Welcome back to the news. Despite sector-wide reforms, Nigeria's ailing power sector is still underperforming, leaving much to be desired as businesses and consumers across the country still augment their energy needs with alternative power sources. The The arrested development in the power sector in Nigeria has become the bane of the economy, leading to calls for more practical solutions. In this report, Abdurrahman Umar takes a look at the prevailing issues in Nigeria's power sector.
After spending over 1.7 trillion naira on power sector reforms, Nigeria is yet to get value for money as Nigerians continue dealing with epileptic and inadequate power supply. The power sector has become an insurmountable challenge holding back Nigeria's growth and development. The poor performance of the power sector in providing electricity supply is pushing many to the brink.
Is given to us, we don't have light, there's no water supply, they can't even enjoy good water. Most of the people living here now, they are depending on the borehole. So for how long are we going to continue like this as a country? Please and please, to God be the glory that I'm meeting you people. I have to tell you the way it is in my mind. We are not moving forward as a country.
While there are gaps within the system, power sector experts are advocating a robust education of the public to understand the challenges of the industry and what needs to be done to address them.
Now, you see, there is still this dilemma of how to deal with the power sector. Is it to be treated as a commercial commodity, 100%? Or to be treated as a social service, 100%? Or to have a mixture of social service and commercial commodity? That dilemma is still there. It's a wrong notion to say we have enough. No. I mean, for a country of about 200 million people, the data out there is that 90 million do not have access to electricity.
With new developments in the power industry, Nigeria appears to be lagging behind in exploring other avenues to leverage power generation and distribution.
Government is saying, I don't have the funds to provide subsidy. So it is only what the discos are sure will be paid for that they will supply. And this is where Rural Electrification Agency comes in to bring in alternative sources like solar, like wind energy, and they can subsidize their own through loans, through grants.
For businesses, the cost of production has been on a rise largely due to inadequate power supply, which has forced many businesses to rely on generators for everyday use.
We need to make the Nigeria change, because I know Nigeria before. Nigeria, then they help before so people cannot suffer like this. But now, anyone where you see they suffer.
This is what I have to say to Nigerians. Let us be ready to change our mindsets and pay for the electricity. Because if we have to run it ourselves, the cost will be too high.
The recent push by the House of Representatives to investigate the alleged mismanagement of $321 million and 18.2 billion naira in connection with 11 electricity distribution companies means the corruption within the system needs to be tackled urgently. But for many Nigerians, since the privatization of national asset is failing to solve the problem, what comes next? Abdurrahman Umar, Trust TV News, Abuja.
Now, the bilateral relationship between Nigeria and Ireland has received a boost from the Minister of the Federal Capital Territory, Nyesom Wike, who is committed to building stronger ties with the European country. The minister made the comments while hosting the Irish ambassador to Nigeria, Peter Ryan, in Abuja on Tuesday. Speaking on the theme of the visit, Wike says Nigeria enjoys the bilateral relationship with Ireland, and the FCT administration will leverage the relationship to promote job creation, improve education and agriculture while seeking stronger partnerships with Irish investors.
One of the major things for Mr. President in terms of his Need Hope agenda is to try to create job opportunities for the teeming population of the youth. And he said, I see it is very key. We think that we will be interested in partnering with companies from Ireland where we can build like an ICT hub for the interests of the youths, so as to reduce the level of unemployment.
The Irish missionaries made a special contribution in the area of education in rivers and right across this country.
Now, the Nigerian Senate on Tuesday urged the federal government to work with the United Nations and other countries of the world to ensure immediate ceasefire in the ongoing Israeli-Hamas war. The lawmakers also urged the federal government to press for a two-state solution to end the conflict in which thousands, including women and children and aid workers, have been killed. The resolutions followed a motion sponsored by Senator Adamu Alero and co-sponsored by 43 other senators. Senator Alero says the casualty figures in the war has become horrific, saying if it is not ended immediately could lead to World War III. Other senators contributed to the debate, condemning the killings on both sides, calling for immediate end to the killings across the region.
A two-state solution had been proposed and accepted, but one side said they don't want to accept, and the other side says they want to protect themselves. But the point is, the world knows that an eye for an eye will lead to everybody not having any eye at all.
These figures include number of people that have been displaced, schools that have been destroyed, hospitals, churches, mosques that have also been destroyed from both sides. Ambulances and industrial areas have also been attacked. I do not want to go into the figures, but the figures the President and civil senators are confirmed and very, very horrendous.
To call on the federal government of Nigeria to, as a matter of urgency, take necessary steps in conjunction with other countries and the United Nations to immediately end the conflict, ensure ceasefire, and save lives and properties of innocent women, children, and indeed humanity who are being destroyed on a daily basis. Those in support of this prayer say aye. Aye. Those against say nay. Nay. The act is out.
In a related development on the international scene, the United Nations says no life-saving fuel has been allowed into Gaza since October 7, risking the lives of 2.3 million Palestinians as essential services closes. Now, UN Secretary General Antonio Guterres says 1 month since the start of the war, a tragedy of colossal proportions is unfolding. United Nations agencies warn the collapse of water and sanitation services will spark bouts of cholera and other deadly infectious diseases. Most of Gaza's 65 sewage pumping stations and all 5 of its water treatment centers have been forced to stop operations. At least 10,328 Palestinians in Gaza have been killed in Israeli attacks since October 7. In Israel, the death toll over the same period stands at more than 1,400. On average, 134 children have reportedly been killed across the Gaza Strip every day since the war began. At least 4,237 children have been killed by Israeli forces since October 7, according to figures by the Health Ministry. Nigeria's military junta has called on Togo's President Faure Gnassingbé to act as a facilitator with the international community, including the West African bloc ECOWAS, which has imposed sanctions since the military coup in the country. Nigeria's Defense Minister, General Salifu Modi, met President Gnassingbé in Togo's capital, Lomé, saying the military junta also wants Togo to be a guarantor of a deal for French troops to withdraw from the Sahel country. The Economic Community of West African States has imposed tight financial sanctions and closed borders with Niger in a bid to restore constitutional order. Moody, who called the sanctions cynical, says Togo had allowed space for Niger's military junta to communicate when other avenues were shut. For now, the junta has demanded a 3-year transition period back to civilian rule, while the ECOWAS has called for an immediate restoration of constitutional order. Well, for the latest in sports, let's join Adeni Ajishafe for the latest.
President of Nigeria Olympic Committee (NOC) Abu Gumel has called on stakeholders in sports sector to test run their readiness for 2024 Olympic Games by using African Games for qualification during a joint meeting of the NOC, the Sports Federation and the Sports Ministry headed by John Owen Eno. The 13th African Games will be hosted in Accra, Ghana from 8th March to 23rd March 2024. Before then, the Youth Winter Games will be staged in Gwangwon, South Korea from 19 January to 1st February 2024. 29 sports will be on offer at the Accra Games, 8 Olympic qualifying and 7 as demonstration events. Nigeria have qualified in 8 sports for the Olympics, 3 in athletics, 3 in boxing and 1 each in cycling and wrestling. Nigeria will use the opportunity of attending the African Games to qualify more athletes for the Summer Games in Paris, France. And in tennis, 3-time French Open champion Iga Swiatek trashed Jessica Pegula to win CCN WTA finals and move back to the top of women's rankings. The Pole needed to beat the American in the final in Cancun, Mexico to overtake Aryna Sabalenka as world number 1 with a dominant 6-1, 6-0 win in just 59 minutes. This is the 4th time Swiatek has won the WTA finals tournament as the youngest champion of the tournament since Petra Kvitova's 2011 win at age 21. Elsewhere, world number 1 Novak Djokovic won a record-extending 7 Paris Masters trophy and a 40th Masters title, beating unseeded Grigor Dimitrov 6-4, 6-3. Serbian superstar Novak Djokovic extended his lead in the World ATP rankings over Spain's Carlos Alcaraz. Djokovic topped the rankings on 11,445 points, with Carlos Alcaraz on 8,455, headed into the elite year-ending ATP finals in Turin, Italy. That's Sport News. I'm Adeni Ajishafe.
Well, that's the size of our bulletin. Thank you most kindly for joining us. We do appreciate your time and company. A quick reminder, join our growing social media platform to catch up with some of our connects as well as content. And you can visit trusttv.com for more news and programs. My name is Abdullahi Ahmed. For myself and the rest of the team, thank you for joining us tonight and good night.
From the Daily Trust News Center, this is the News Hour.